Okay, now let's talk about setting up port-based special economic zones. So special economic zones are being developed in the close proximity to ports, thereby providing a strategy advantage to industries within these zones. So which are the coal industries, they will be able to send the coal from one department to one area. So that is why it is done in specifically in one area and very close proximity. So now plants which are being set up are basically, as I had already told you, coal based power plants to take advantage of imported coal and steel plants and edible oil refineries. Okay, so development of special economic zones have been done in Mundra region. So let me mention here Mundra. Okay, so let me write down here, let me rub this. So where are the special economic zones done? So Mundra region, Krishnapatnam, Revas, and few others are underway. Okay, now the government has announced plans to develop 14 CEZ. So what is CEZ? So CEZ is Coastal Economic Zones, okay, in a phased manner. So in a phased manner, the government of India is planning for 14 CEZs, okay, and in a phased manner for port-led development in all the 9 maritime states. So all 9 maritime states. So whichever states there's a coastal area, so those 9 maritime states, by advancing efforts to develop one new port. So one more new port also has to be added, each on the east and the west coast. So as if you remember, there were 6 and 6. So now the government is planning for 7 and 7 here. Okay, so that is also very important. Now talking about the focus on the draft pact. Okay, so all the greenfield ports, okay, have been developed at shores with natural deep drafts, and existing ports are investing on improving their their draft depth. Okay, so higher draft depth means the more it is higher, you need bigger vessels, huger vessels. Okay, so due to the cost and time advantage associated with the large size vehicles, much of the traffic is shifting to large vessels. Okay, so government of India is trying to focus on large vessels than smaller ones, especially in the coal transportation, because here it is, what will happen, it is more advantageous. Talking about the ports to operate on the green energy. Okay, so the government of India is targeting to make the country the first in the world to operate all 12 major domestic government ports on renewable energy. Okay, so this is a great achievement and the government is planning to install almost, you can talk about, so government is planning to install 200 megawatts wind and solar power generation capacity by 2019 at the ports. Now they are trying to increase it to more, it can be ramped up to 500 megawatts also in future years, depending on it, but right now the capacity what the government has targeted is 200 megawatts. Okay, now talking about the next one is specialist terminal based ports. Okay, so let me just delete this. Yes, so specialist terminalization, which focus on terminals that deal with a particular type of cargo. Okay, so now this is useful for handling specific cargoes such as LNG. LNG that requires specific equipment, and hence high capital cost is also required. So forming specialist terminals for such cargo results in you can use optimal use of resources and increase the efficiency also. So let us see some examples here. So examples of specialist terminals, so that is ICTT in Cochin, LNG terminal in Dahej port. Okay. Yes, now coming to the next one, that is the landlord port model. So now to promote the private investments, the government has completely reformed the organizational mode of seaports. Okay. So from a service model where the port authority offers all the services. Okay. So yes, first it was from a service port model where the port authority offers all the services. Okay, and now it is converted to a landlord port model. So here what in this landlord port model, the port authority is a regulator. Okay, so it doesn't offer services, it's a regulator. Okay, and the landlord, while port operations are carried out by private investors. So that is why they are called as landlord. So port operations are carried out by private companies. So the Port Authority of India is only the regulator, but the entire operations is carried out by the private companies, and that is why it is called as a landlord port model. So let us see the major ports which are following this port model. So major ports following the landlord port model is JNPT, Chennai, Visakhapatnam, and Tuticorin. Okay, so these are very, very important also. Now, if you're talking about the growing external trade and ports expansion, so if you see one by one, let us see what is the extension of the growing trade. So as you see, so India's total external trade has grown to US dollars 416 billion. Okay, so basically the cargo also CGR is of 4%. Okay, now this is increased since 2009. Okay, so India's ports are benefiting from a strong growth in the external trade. Okay, now the second is it is also increasing trade, which is also translating into higher demand, okay, due to the efficiency. So if the efficiency is there in the ports, obviously this is increasing the higher demand also. There is a huge demand here. Yes, and ports basically, if you see how much they handle, the ports handle almost 95% of trade volumes. Okay, so this is, you can understand that how much is the rising trade which has been contributed significantly by the cargo traffic. Okay, and the fourth point, okay, so here the containers, so container traffic is also increased here. Container traffic, so these are big containers. If you see the big lorries, those are the containers which get dumped in the dockyard, and it has been it sails by ships and vessels, big vessels. So the container traffic has also rose to 123.2 metric tons. Okay, And here also you see the growth rate has increased 5.9%. Okay, and yes, it has also contributed to a strong GDP, where if you see the countries currently meets about 75% of the total crude oil is demanded by import. So 75% crude oil comes from import, and it is done by cargo only. And India's crude imports have touched almost a lot. So let's talk about the imports. So the first one is 75% of total crude oil demand by imports. Second is have touched 213.93 metric tons in first year of 2017. Okay, so that is a 6.7% growth. Third, also if you talk about private ports have been especially good at attracting crude imports. Okay, so private ports, the landlord ports, have been especially good at attracting crude import traffic. Let's continue with the next point. Yes, the POL, that is petroleum, oil and lubricants, have been the major contributors. So they have been the major contributors to total traffic at ports, and now it is contributed almost, it has contributed 33.3% in the year 2016. It has increased rather. Okay, so there has been a national maritime agenda. This is very, very important. So let us go through it. So yes, what is the national maritime agenda? So national maritime agenda 2010-2020. Okay, so where's the first one is increasing capacity. Second is we must also contribute on investment. It also sees that the port should have a world-class infrastructure. Okay, we must also increase the landlord ports. There must be a regulation, so all the ports should be under regulation. So bringing ports under the regulator, and there must be a strategy. So strategically building ports. Okay, so as I said, the first thing, let's talk about that, to create a port capacity of around 3,200 metric tons to handle a traffic, because traffic is increasing day by day. So we should have a port capacity which should be used to handle the traffic. Yes, investment. So proposed investments in major ports by 2020 are expected to grow much, that is almost $18.6 billion. With those in non-major ports also, here also we are trying to invest in the non-major ports also. And the government is also working to float a specialized maritime finance corporation with the equity of ports and financial. So there must be a finance corporation for this. So that also the government is working. Talking about world-class infrastructure, so there must be implementation of full mechanization of cargo handling and movement at ports, thereby bringing the Indian ports on par with the best international ports in terms of performance and capacity. Yes, talking about landlord ports, so major ports have been working towards implementing landlord ports concept during limiting their role to maintenance of channels and basic infrastructure, leaving the development, operation, management of terminal and cargo handling facilities to the private sector. So this is also very, very important. Now bringing ports under regulator. So yes, there must be to establish a port regulator for all the ports in order to set and monitor and regulate service levels, technical and performance standards. So that is also very, very important. Yes. Now strategically building ports. So now this is a very, very important point. I would like to discuss something about this. So what is the strategy? The first thing is to develop two major ports, one on the east and one on the west. Okay, and basically one on the each, and also basically the planning for creating another post in Mumbai, NPT, and on Kochi, Chennai and Vishakhapatnam. Okay, so in April 2017, the government has approved the memorandum of understanding on passenger cruise services on the coast, and there is a protocol route between India and Bangladesh, okay, to commence regular movement of tourists and passengers in vessels between these two countries. Okay, so in May 2017, the commerce, so yes, this is very important. So in May 2017, the Commerce and Transport Ministry announced the construction of two new ports in Odisha and one at Astarang in Puri. Okay, and another is also on the way. So basically all in Odisha only. Another one is also another at Subarna Rekha in Balasore or Balasore district. Okay, now there are some more sites which the government has thought about the potentiality. So there are 14 potential sites identified for developing these minor ports. Okay, so this is very, very important. And now we will talk about a very important project that is called as the Sagarmala project. Now Sagarmala project is a port-led development program of the Ministry of Shipping Industry. Okay, so a shipping ministry has studied and has claimed that the project could lead to an annual saving. So the Sagarmala project, according to the shipping ministry, they say that it can save almost an annual saving. So annual saving, how much is the annual saving? Let's see. Annual saving of rupees 40,000 crores. So there's a big amount if we optimize logistics. So that is why the Sagarmala project is so important. Some more points about it. Okay, now Currently, if you talk about also that 95% of India's trade by value and by 70% by volume takes place through the maritime transport. So transport maritime is very very important for India's trade. Okay, and India is lacking the high quantity of international trade via coastline due to the lack of infrastructure facilities and advanced coastal technologies. Okay, so this is a very very important need, and that is why Sagarmala project is very very important. Okay, and the cost of shipping and evacuating goods through Indian maritime transport is quite high. You see the costing also is quite high compared to that of China, South Korea, Japan and other developed countries. Okay, so this makes Indian goods very uncompetitive in the international market, and that is why Sagarmala project is so important. And if you talk about China, let's talk about the countries: China, South Korea and Japan. So they have effectively used their coastline for port-led development. Okay, and now India also has to replicate or copy the same model to stay competitive, or else they will be wiped off from the market. So a plan has been made to reduce the logistic cost and strengthen the India's export import industry. So that is why Sagarmala project is one such project which is very very important. Okay, so now let's see the objectives of Sagarmala project. Okay, so let us see one by one. Okay, so the first one is augmenting operational efficiency of ports. So what do you mean by this? More terminals required. So more terminals for loading and unloading cargo. The second one is optimizing logistics, that is through rails, roads and inland waterways. Then third is to identify capacity additions. So what is addition capacity means? Wherever it is available, there must be more ports. Okay, so more ports should be there wherever it is suitable or viable. Coming to the fourth objective, yes, modernize India's ports so that the port-led development can be processed. Okay, so now what are the recommendations, like under this, that they have suggested that you must promote the coastal shipping for bulk commodities like coal. That is why this project has been recommended.